Hi, Kristen. We're just going to wait a couple seconds here and allow people to come on and join in the Instagram live before we get started. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Matthew. Hi, Aliyah. Oh, it's great to see so many people joining in today. Hi, Gabriel. Hi, Dee Boynton. Melissa, hey. Ross, hi. All right, well, we will get started. It's great to see all of you here joining with me today. My name is Stephanie Dixon, and I'm a very proud Jumpstart ambassador. And I'm also a 19-time Paralympic medalist in swimming. I've brought a couple medals here today to show you. I competed in Sydney, Athens, and Beijing. But before talking about the Paralympics, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and how I got into swimming. I was born in Ontario, even though I actually live in the Yukon now. I'm in my cabin in the woods in the Yukon. But I was born in Ontario, missing my right leg. Hi, Timothy. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah, so I was born missing my right leg, and I was really fortunate. My parents knew that life might be a little bit more challenging for me from a physical perspective as well as a social perspective. And so they wanted to make me tough, and they wanted me to learn that my body was strong and beautiful and capable. So they decided to put me in as many sports as possible. So the first sport I was put into was swimming. And when I was 2 years old, I went into the swimming pool, and because I had one leg, my leg kind of looked like a fish tail or a mermaid tail. So I was very aerodynamic in the water and just nice and smooth and graceful through the water. So I've always felt very comfortable being in the water in a swimming pool. Because on land, I use crutches or a prosthetic leg, whereas in the water, it was just me and my body. And I moved so gracefully, just like a mermaid. So swimming was the first sport I tried, and after that, I did everything you could imagine. Tried horseback riding, soccer, gymnastics, high jump. I did high jump in elementary school, where I would hop up to the bar and dive over the front of it. So I really tried anything and everything. Sometimes I had teachers or people who told me I could sit out, that I didn't have to participate if I didn't want to because I had one leg. And I always wanted to participate. I always wanted to try things. And sometimes it took a bit of creativity to figure out how to do things. But I always wanted to participate, and I really didn't want to feel like I was being left out. So one time I remember, learning to ride a two-wheel bicycle. And because all of my weight is on the left-hand side, I have my left leg, I would try to ride my two-wheel bicycle and just fall over to the left side every single time. And I came home with scrapes and bruises down the left side of my body. But my parents just encouraged me to try and figure it out, to keep trying and maybe lean a little bit towards the right. And eventually I did learn to ride a two-wheel bicycle. And I'm by nature a very competitive person. And I always want to try and push myself and keep improving. So eventually I learned to ride a two-wheel bicycle with one leg and no hands. And again, it was just figuring out the balance, leaning a bit more to the right. And it's really just determination and having a great support system around you. So with that, my attitude and my support system, I decided to pursue swimming at the highest level possible. I wanted to compete for Canada at the Paralympic Games. And when I was 16, I qualified for the Sydney Paralympics. And there I won 5 gold medals. And I really learned a lot about the Paralympic movement. Back then, a lot of people didn't know what the Paralympics were, or they viewed it as something that was for participation and not necessarily high performance. And so I learned that the Paralympics was equal to the Olympics. Paralympics, actually, the para is for parallel to the Olympics. They're the exact same thing, but for people who have disabilities. And it's high performance sport. It's the same grit and determination and incredible athleticism. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be a part of sharing about the Paralympic movement with other people, to educate people about inclusion and diversity and how important it is to give everyone an opportunity, whether that's for play and recreation or to pursue their dreams at a high level. We all deserve a chance to express ourselves and to be exactly who we were meant to be. And that's only possible with great support and an opportunity. So I started to really advocate for Paralympic sport. It's why I'm a proud Jumpstart ambassador, because they believe in all play for all kids to make sure that everyone has an opportunity and that we're all the same. You know, we just want to play and have fun and move our bodies. It's so important for our health, physically and mentally, to move our bodies, and everyone should have that opportunity. Hashtag everyone belongs. I love that, Tim. I love that so much. Everyone does belong. And the only reason why people feel they don't belong is because of misconceptions or, you know, sometimes we just have misconceptions about people in our heads, and the Paralympic movement and Jumpstart really helps to educate people that we all belong, just like Timothy says. Inclusion matters. Yes, yes, it does. It is very important. So with that, that's a little bit about me. I would love to open this up for some questions. And earlier today, we had a question come in from Ashley, and Ashley asked me what the most extreme sport I've tried is. And so after I retired from swimming, which was back in 2010, I moved up to the Yukon, and I love the outdoors. I love wilderness. And so since I've been up here, I've tried ice climbing, which might be the most extreme thing that I've done, where you have crampons, little spikes on the bottom of your feet, and axes in your hands, and you find a frozen waterfall and climb up. And it's cold, it's freezing, so you want to bundle up wearing down jackets. And so you kind of slam your feet and the picks into the ice, and then with your arms you put the axes in and you climb up a frozen waterfall. Why we do this, I don't know, but it's a lot of fun. Recently I've gotten into mountain biking. Here in the north we have world-class cross-country skiing and world-class mountain bike trails. So I figured out how to ride my mountain bike. I clip in with my left foot to make sure I can get the crank back around, and then just figuring out the balance. And I'm having a lot of fun doing that. Hey, Greg, how you doing? So from Greg Stewart, very good friend of mine. Great to see you, Greg. Also one of the greatest athletes, shot put, that we've ever seen. Very excited to see how your year goes, Greg. So what is the most exciting accomplishment you've ever experienced? What a great question. You know, a couple moments come to mind, but definitely my first Paralympic Games. You know, to represent your country, to have the maple leaf on your back, to know that your country and its values and its sports system fostered the pathway for you to achieve your dreams. It's very humbling, very proud moment. So when I could win a gold medal for Canada, and have the flag raised up behind me, and we're singing "O Canada," and tears coming down my face thinking about all the people who believed in me. And you know, when you win a gold medal, you yourself win it, but there's just so many people that a piece of that medal belongs to because they helped you get there. So I would say my first gold medal in Sydney when I was 16 years old definitely was one of the most amazing moments and accomplishments that I've had. So, hey, Matthew, how's it going? Your question is, what do you do with all your medals? 19 is so many. So I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, but I keep them in socks. So when I brought out my medals today to show you, I took them out of my sock. It keeps them from getting scratched. So I have a couple here. I was showing them earlier, but for those of you who've just joined in, I've got a couple medals here, and I bring them around when I do presentations to show to other people. But a lot of my medals are actually displayed around Canada. I swam out of the University of Victoria, so a couple of my medals are displayed in their athletic building. Some of them are in the Richmond Oval, where in the Richmond Oval, lots of Olympians and Paralympians are being celebrated in display cases. And then also I grew up in Brampton, Ontario, and in the first swimming pool that I trained out of, there's some medals up there as well. So I'm very proud that they're distributed around the country so that everyone has a chance to share in the medals, because it really is an entire country that makes an Olympian or a Paralympian. It's like I said before, the values, the support, it's the sport system that is inclusive and accessible that allows so many of us to pursue our dreams. Thanks for these great questions. I think I just missed one. If I can get back to one question. Let's see here. There we go. There we go. Hi, Aliyah. So what's my favorite memory from competing at the Paralympics? Perfect. Great question. Some of my favorite memories are meeting the other athletes. I am so inspired by the athletes around the world and knowing, what their training is like and what their countries value and how they've supported their athletes in their country to get to the top level. So some of my best friends in the world are athletes from other countries. I've kept in touch, and it's just so great how the Olympics and Paralympics brings the world together in a peaceful way, especially at the Paralympics, where it's bringing the world together and a group of people who have been underestimated, who've been overlooked their entire life. And then the Paralympic brings this community together of strength and resilience and beauty, and showing that it comes in all different shapes and sizes. And I feel the Paralympics creates beautiful role models for all kids of all abilities, for everyone around the world. So those are my greatest memories from the Paralympics is meeting the most amazing, inspiring people who I'm very proud to call my friends. Because, we're competitors, but at the end of the day, we believe in something greater than just winning and medals. We believe in what the Olympics and Paralympics stands for, and it is bringing the world together. And when we're all trying to be our best, we're really creating an environment for everyone to be better. And so if I go and I'm winning by a long ways, then maybe I'm not going to be as good as if someone's right beside me, pushing me along, and that really inspires me. So yeah, the Paralympics is just such an inspiring place. All right, we have some more questions. Where's the most interesting place that I have swam, competing or not? Awesome question. So I love to swim in the open water. My competing happened in the swimming pool, but I love to swim in open water. And I went to Alaska, which is right beside the Yukon where I live. And I went to Glacier National Park, to Glacier Bay, and we swam with icebergs. And it was so cold. It was so cold. But once our fingers went numb and we kind of got over the initial shock, we got to swim alongside some icebergs and some beautiful glaciers. We didn't stay in very long, but that was definitely the most interesting and beautiful place I've ever swam. And there were sea lions kind of swimming around us and whales underneath the water. We didn't see them, but they were there. So that was a pretty beautiful place to swim. From Timothy, advice for young athletes. Such a good question. I think that something that if I could go back and talk to my younger self or talk to the young generation now, it would be that it's important to know that you are valuable and you are worthy with or without a gold medal. And I think as high performance athletes, sometimes we get caught up in thinking that our performance or our medals are what give us value, and that our worth is attached to our performance and the medals. And that can be very unhealthy for our mental health. It can be very unhealthy for our physical health as well. And so I think that if I could go back and talk to my younger self, or the message to young athletes would be, know that you're worth it. With or without the medals, it's you that's bringing the value to your performance, to the medals. You're the magic, and you're lighting up the pool or the lake or the field or wherever you're competing. And it's you that's bringing the magic and not the other way around. And Greg, more from Greg. So what motivation could you give to athletes that are training right now with so much uncertainty on the horizon? Oh, Greg, it's such a challenging time right now. And what advice can I give? I would say, and this is for athletes as well as everybody who's having a hard time with COVID. I think we're all having a bit of the uncertainty in our lives and a challenging time. And I think that if we can surround ourselves with a great support system, because the feelings of isolation, the feelings of being alone is really, really hard. So to stay connected as much as possible, and if that's online or in person, but in a socially distanced way with masks on, we need to stay connected. We need to know that we're not alone. And beyond that, to focus on the things we can control. So, I think that the future is always uncertain. There's always things that are outside of our control, but now more than ever, when there's more uncertainty than we've ever experienced, to really, and for me, I make a to-do list. What can I control today? What can I control this week? What can I control this month? And that's where I'm putting my energy. But I also find that I have a lot of strength that comes from meditation. And Greg, I know that you're on that pathway as well, and to get calm, because our minds are going a million miles a minute and picturing all these different case scenarios, and we're feeling stress and anxiety. So we're actually, after we finish the questions, we're going to go through a group meditation together, because that's something I utilized in my swimming career as well as now during COVID, to try and stay calm, to try and stay peaceful, I hear ya. Thank you. Yeah, Greg, I know we're on the same wavelength that way. So yeah, I'll take a couple more questions, and then we will do a group meditation to try and keep the anxious feelings at bay, or at least to recognize them and befriend our anxiety, and know that it's there for a reason. All right, Linda, thanks for your question, Linda. Do you have any pre-competition rituals? Great question. During competition, I tried to keep things as normal as possible from my everyday life. So I tried to eat the same foods for breakfast, for example. I always had oatmeal in the morning with different seeds and nuts and fruits on top. So I tried to keep that consistent when I was competing. So that's maybe more about habits than rituals. Before my competition, like right before, I would listen to pump up music, and I had a similar playlist that I would listen to every single time. So I knew when a certain song came on that it was time to go, and my body would just start getting in the groove and feeling my blood pumping and getting excited. And then behind the blocks, I would always do the same physical routine. So I would always do like 3 arm swings on the right, 3 arm swings on the left, and do a little bit of swimming stretches. And that's when my body knew it was time to get ready and go. See you later, Greg. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Hey, Jody. Hey. All right, last question. So from Melissa, she asks, who was my role model when I started my swimming journey? And that's a great question, Melissa, because role models are so important. Everyone needs role models to inspire us, to show us what's possible. And as someone growing up with a disability, I actually really struggled to find role models who I thought I could identify with. So growing up looking in the media or just around in society and looking for somebody with a disability that was put in a position of leadership or being a role model. And back in the 80s and 90s when I grew up, I wasn't seeing a lot of people with disability. And so Terry Fox played a huge role in my life, because he was the one person with a disability that I saw being raised up as a role model. And every year we did the Terry Fox run, and I grew up wearing a prosthetic leg, and I could run just like Terry Fox. And so I was kind of considered the cool kid that day who had the same run as Terry Fox, and kids felt more comfortable that day to ask me about my prosthetic leg because we had learned about Terry Fox, and it just made disability more comfortable. So I think Terry Fox made a huge impact in my life and my ability to be proud of my body and feel that I could use my body to empower myself. Thank you so much for your questions, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. And before we sign off, I do want to share an activity with you that I use to get ready and get my head in the game for right before I would compete. And that was just to go through a body scan meditation. So I would love for us all to do it together. So for those of you who have another couple minutes, I would like to ask you to close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. So let's take 3 deep breaths. One more breath. And now keep your eyes closed, and I want you to focus on your toes. You can wiggle your toes and just see if there's any tension being held in your toes, your feet, and breathe in all your air right down to your toes. And as you exhale, let out any stress or tension that you're carrying in your feet. Now we're going to move up to the rest of our legs. So focus on your legs. See how it feels. Do your thighs feel tense? Your calf muscles? So take a deep breath into your leg muscles. Breathe in oxygen. And as you exhale, breathe out any tension from your legs. And now let's move up to our core, your abdomen, your chest. Feel, is there any tension? A lot of people carry tension in their chest. Take a deep breath in, into your tummy, into your chest, and then breathe out any tension. We'll move to our arms. You can wiggle your fingers. Breathe in a deep breath as you feel your arms. Try and relax. Take your shoulders away from your ears and breathe out any tension. And finally, we'll move to our head. Wiggle your nose. See if your neck and your head are carrying any tension. You can move them around a little bit. A lot of us carry tension in our forehead, in our necks. So just try and relax, and we'll take a deep breath in. And we'll exhale any tension that we're carrying in our head and our neck. So if you noticed any tension there as we went through that quick meditation, the body scan, if you notice any tension anywhere, focus on that today. And as you're breathing, try and breathe in new fresh oxygen into those areas and see if you can relax any areas of tension over the course of your day. Thank you so much for joining me on Instagram Live. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:30. We're going to have some fun trivia for you tomorrow morning. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon. All right. Bye, everybody.